Hello YouTube and welcome to River City Wrap-Ups. This is part 3 of our last video on the E3 conferences of 2014.
The one I've been waiting for.
Yes, this is the big one. I'm sure a lot of people were talking crap about Nintendo before the conference, and admittedly so.
Fuck you naysayers!
But yes, fuck you. Because obviously they told us all off and just, brought us the best possible presentation they could. And obviously they didn't do it at E3 technically. They just called it their Nintendo digital event.
Let's face it, it was E3.
Pretty much, but I applaud them for the way they did this.
Oh, me too.
Compared to the other two conferences,
no
Microsoft
fumbling around.
Yes, it was all tight. It was all packaged together perfectly.
They did some stuff on this that you couldn't do on a live stage.
No.
Like, it was so well done.
And actually,
which we're going to get into, but I was so impressed with it.
Yeah, and actually Nintendo taking a few jabs at themselves too. Admittedly, they know they've kind of messed up in the past. So obviously the first one and the biggest thing from this was the Robot Chicken sketches.
Yeah.
These were really hilarious. Obviously, if you're a fan of Robot Chicken and Nintendo, this was like the best thing they could have done possibly. I was like amazed that I was watching this, to be perfectly honest, from official Nintendo.
As soon as I saw it, I was surprised.
Oh, definitely.
First off, this is for you, Nintendo. I don't usually drink, but I'm having a beer for you because that was amazing.
Yeah, you guys deserve it. That was an amazing conference, so good job, Nintendo. And obviously, other than the Robot Chicken, the other thing we saw was the Reggie versus Awada video.
Oh, that was really, really interesting, and that being a prelude into what they were announcing, too.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed the actual fight that they did.
At first I was kind of like, what's going on here? I'm like, why are these two like squaring off against each other? And then as soon as it started to pick up, I was like, oh, I think I see what's going on here.
Yeah, I can kind of understand where they're going with this.
Although there were a couple of I thought I saw Reggie doing the 100-hand slap that Honda does. Just an amazing video.
Very, very well done, and a great prelude into the announcement of Smash Brothers now having
the Mii Fighters
on there, which they like to advertise as you can now have anybody play in your Smash Brothers game.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree and disagree with that because there's limitations with the Mii characters.
A little bit, yeah. Now, obviously, there's 3 types. There's the brawler type, the sword-wielding type, and the long-range type. Obviously, you can pick and choose whichever one your preference is. And, to be perfectly honest, I think this is kind of cool. I've seen some really creative Miis through various games on the Wii, and I guess now seeing them on the Wii U since I've been playing it lately. So actually, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm very interested to see what kind of characters people are going to come up with to just show off. Me personally,
first one I'm doing is I'm going to do Danny Tanner versus...
Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, Uncle Jesse. No, I was thinking the dad from Family Matters.
What was that, Carl
Winslow? Cop Carl Winslow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The fat cop. So Danny Tanner versus Carl Winslow. First person I'm doing. First match.
So clearly this is, really something very intriguing, Nintendo's coming out with. Now the one thing I kind of see problem with is I feel like a lot of people might use these Mii Fighters more than the actual Nintendo characters.
I think so.
Especially
you
now,
to specialize your character.
And you can technically make any Nintendo or any video game character, really. We can see a Duke Nukem in technically a Smash Brothers game.
If you really want to.
If you really want to, yeah. So very interesting.
It is a really good idea. It's something they already have on the system, so why not use it?
Oh, absolutely. So that's pretty much, the Smash Bros, the first part of that presentation.
Yeah, because they kind of talked a bit about Smash Bros throughout the whole thing, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. There are little spurts of it. And the next thing that they introduced, which is really intriguing, I'm actually very excited about this for a couple of reasons.
The amount of money.
Yeah. And obviously, I think a lot of people saw this coming. It was kind of how the industry's going. It obviously worked very well for Skylanders.
Yeah.
Disney Infinity as well. And that's the Amiibos. Now, obviously, if anyone didn't see the presentation, the Amiibos are basically these little figurines. Obviously, you're going to have Mario, Zelda, fucking
If you don't mind.
Oh, definitely.
If you take a look right here on the controller,
there's a little square space. Yeah.
That is meant and was originally integrated into the controller specifically for these Amiibos.
Yeah.
Basically, you get to place it. It doesn't necessarily need to be just with Super Smash Brothers. It can be any game that they want it to be part of. I think they're planning on using it for Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Where you get to take these characters and put them into your game. Now, the cool thing about this is each character that you buy is now your character.
Yes.
It adds stats throughout every game that you play that gets added onto it and continued onto everyone that you go to.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. To me, the really interesting part about this is, other than, of course, uploading information to the game via the Amiibo, it can send information back to the figure. That actually was very intriguing to me, because now it's like, well, what type of stuff are you going to be able to upload? Like you mentioned, this is going to be used in other games. You know, it's a very cool idea. And personally, I think both of us are going to be throwing our wallets at Nintendo. I mean, geez.
This wallet, it's for you.
That's for you. Yeah. I mean, well, as soon as these come out, I'm going to start buying them up right away. Because obviously, like with the Skylander figures, you're going to be picked up. People are going to be reselling these for crazy prices.
There's going to be some rare ones,
Yeah.
some common ones. I know I'm going to go for Link right away.
Yep.
I'm going to go for Samus right away, and I'm probably going to get Mario.
To be perfectly honest, I'm going to try and go for a full set of these things.
I think so too.
Because obviously, and I'm also, we kind of discussed this earlier, like how are they going to be packaging these things?
Are they going to be a mystery pack?
If they do...
I can't see them doing that.
I can personally, I could, because you know what? To be honest, it's going to mean a lot of people buying a lot more of them. Because once you buy your one figure, you bought your figure. You don't need to put any more money down.
If you don't want. Unless you want other figures.
But if you buy those mystery packages, you don't get the figure you want. Well, shit. Now I got to buy the next one so I can get my damn Link or whatever. So
see, for me, I think the way I see it is the way Skylanders did it, the way Infinity did it is they gave you a clear packaging. Yeah. You can see what you're going to buy, and if you're going to be shelling out more than $5 to do, like if you're doing $10 to $20 on these things.
With the technology, I imagine it might be a little over $10. So.
Yeah, so I'm expecting $20, $15 to $20.
20.
That'd be a little expensive.
That'd be a little too much. I personally that'd be pushing it a bit for me. Definitely 15 is where I'm at for prices on this amiibo. So you know what?
I would be okay with about a $15 price range.
Yeah,
if it's 15 though, I don't want a mystery pack.
Yeah, true. So like I said, if mystery pack, $5 to $10, perfectly fine. If they're going to be packaged, definitely
10 to 15.
10 to 15. Hopefully
I think that'd be really fair. So
yeah, so that's the amiibos. Obviously, very excited about that. If you're a collector, it's going to be cool little collectibles.
Getting back into the games here, because we've already talked about Smash Brothers, we're going to come into one that I'm very surprised that I'm excited for.
I didn't think I was going to care for this much. I think they talked about it a little bit last presentation. I haven't seen that much about it since, but obviously with the gameplay they showed, I'm actually very excited to play this.
And that game is Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yep.
It reminds me, well, clearly they were trying to bank off of, or not bank off of, but use the same sort of engine as Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I didn't mind that game.
I actually liked it myself. It's a pretty good game. So obviously, I was thinking maybe this might be like some weird fad in Japan going on right now.
With
knitting.
wool. Yeah.
So clearly there's something to this that we don't get here in North America. But you know what? It actually works for the art style.
It does. I like that Yoshi actually when he uses his tongue, actually hits a piece of yarn and unravels the enemies, like stuff like that.
And again, very similar to Kirby's Epic Yarn. But you know what? This honestly looks really cool. If it obviously is going to be coming out for Wii U, I'm actually going to be picking this up. So.
Yeah, me too. And it seems like it's almost be like a successor to the Yoshi Island too.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess Yoshi Story.
Yeah, Yoshi Story. Yeah.
Because obviously they just came out with the recent new Yoshi Island. So.
Yeah, but it does look good, and I'm personally looking forward to picking it up.
Yeah, definitely me too. Now the next one on our list here. Now this one I was really surprised about. I mean, I
wasn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Now you haven't played the game. Why I'm not surprised.
True.
I just lent it to you.
Yes, you did. Now the thing with this is this character, very big character in the Nintendo franchise, the lexicon of the company. He's never done his own game before.
No, he hasn't. He started in part 2 and worked his way all the way to. He wasn't.
No, he was in the first one.
Was he? Oh yes, he was.
Yeah.
No, that was. Oh, that is Toad. Isn't
that is Toad. So obviously the game we're talking about now is Toad's Adventure. So this looks like a first person, or not first person, but a 3D adventure puzzle type game is starring Toad. It actually really surprised me.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
When you get to play it on 3D Mario World, which is the game that I lent him, there is some Toad puzzles in there that is basically what this game's going to be. And Toad can't jump. All he can do is move around and use items. Pick things up. So you're going to base your whole world on that, which means you're going to be using the camera on the gamepad to be able to search certain areas that you wouldn't see otherwise on the screen. It's super cool, and it's nice for them to see them actually use the Wii U gamepad. And to
be perfectly honest, this game put a big smile on my face because I was like, oh my god, this actually looks really fun. So like you mentioned, it's Toad's first game. It's in Super Mario 3D World a little bit, so I'll be able to get a little bit of idea of what the actual game's going to play like. But yeah, I'm very excited about that. Toad's Adventure.
Absolutely.
Go Toad.
So we would normally wait a little bit to talk about this next game, but we're kind of tackling this in order.
Yeah, we try to want to do this in the way the presentation was laid out, and this... Obviously, Ed, you're a Zelda fan. One of the biggest games that they've showcased at their digital event, and a lot of personally myself, I'm just calling this Zelda Skyrim or Skyrim Zelda because I mean it looks amazing.
Basically what it is. I mean the idea is it's open world. It's going to be free because they're trying to base it more off of the first game, where you could do whatever you wanted.
There's no set order. There's not a linear path, so it looks really intriguing to me. Like this one, absolutely amazed by it. And actually, because I just recently bought this Wii U, this is one of the games that pushed me to buy that system. Like now, finally, it looks like there's going to be a real reason to own the Wii U, and I'm really glad Nintendo came out with this in this digital event. I think they really needed it for that system.
Yeah, I think it was very important for them to do this, especially on this presentation. If they didn't do this, this would have hurt them.
Yeah.
Even if it was just a small tease that's, okay, it's not coming out for another year and a bit, as long as they have something there to say, hey, okay.
But clearly they have a lot more to show than just a little
they
tease.
just showed that little bit now, so I want to see what happens over the next 6 months.
Oh, we're definitely going to see more from this.
Absolutely.
So that's, Zelda Skyrim, for I guess what we're calling it right now. Until
Zelda Skyrim,
yeah.
They'll eventually come out with an official name, but right now Zelda Skyrim works. Yep. Next is some remakes on the mark. Which seems to be like a little bit of a trend that's going on lately.
A little bit, and you know what? In terms of how the previous games that were previously released before this were handled, it looks like it's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I think so too.
The way this video actually came up, kind of this Japanese kid going through this like strange tunnel. Now, if anyone doesn't know, that was actually kind of homage to Shigeru Miyamoto's childhood. If anyone doesn't know about Shigeru Miyamoto, first of all, shame on you.
Yeah.
Now, this is the guy, if you love Nintendo, he's the man responsible for their success. He's obviously created a ton of their main
IPs. Almost all their IPs are
pretty much all of them. And basically, this was a story he always told as a kid. He didn't really have a TV or a lot of supervision.
He explored his backyard and
which was a forest. And he pretty much went and explored caves. And this was really the basis for the
Zelda. That was Zelda. Games. Yeah, that's how Zelda started.
And the way this presentation started with that video, I thought it was kind of going to be something related to
I kind of expected it too.
Yeah, and then it really surprised me when it came up with the.
You know what got me was the red backpack.
Yes, that's actually
if you didn't guess it by that point, we're talking about the new remakes of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the new Pokemon.
New Pokemon games.
Yeah, new Pokemon games.
Yeah, so obviously these are remakes like we mentioned. Now obviously these are being done in the style of the Pokemon XY games, which is honestly a really good thing. I really did not give a crap about Pokemon since Red or Blue and Yellow.
Which a lot of people, you're a first gener.
Definitely. I definitely started with the big Grick DMG Game Boy, so that was my first initial.
I've said it in the last videos. My wife fucking loves Pokemon. Stop releasing them. I'm tired of buying these damn things.
And you gotta buy like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, it's always 2 at a time, and then a third one that's just another fucking mix of the first 2. Jesus Christ, fuck, you know how to take money. Yeah, but my wife loves them, and I guess if it makes her happy, it makes me happy. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, come on, man. Like, I've already got those games. Now I gotta buy them again.
Pretty much.
So I mean, it's a double-edged sword. It's got its goods. It's got its bads. The fact that you're rebuying another one if you're a big fan. But if you're a big fan, you're gonna buy it. You're gonna buy it.
Clearly, everyone is. I mean, they wouldn't be releasing these games so close to each other if any people weren't buying them. So they know people are going to snatch this one up.
Well, their last remix was Soul Silver and Heart Gold. So and that was a huge success for remakes. So I can only imagine them doing it with other games and continuing on down the generations. Yep. So
expect to pay up more money.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Feed that Pokemon machine.
Next on our list, I'm excited for, but not as excited for, because I've never really been into this series. But I know people that are into this series fucking love it.
Yeah.
And that's Xenoblade Chronicles.
Chronicle X, yes. So Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, I don't know much about the series, like you mentioned yourself. Now, personally, though, I do have the one on the Wii. Now, I did play it. I was actually super impressed with it.
I've heard that.
Some of the character models are a bit ugly. Some of the voice acting is a bit terrible. The actual gameplay.
I've heard it's the must-have for the system.
It really is, yeah. It's really amazing. So, with this presentation, obviously, it looks a lot better. It's going to be on the Wii U console. This one, I really would recommend people picking up, because if the trend falls with like the last game, this might be a pricey game at some point.
I think it might, yeah. If they don't, because they don't expect these games to sell as well out here, they never release as much.
No, definitely.
So scoop it up. It's going to be worth something someday in that sense. But I mean, if you're a fan of the game, just go get it. Yeah. I mean, I'm personally not, so I might grab it just so I can say I have it. But that's about the extent of it for me. Maybe I'll play it and I'll love it. So.
True. I would either way recommend the Wii version. So yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X, definitely excited for that one.
Next one, not so excited for. And it's the only one, I think, on this list that I'm not excited for.
We personally couldn't even remember the name of this game. We're just going to call it the new Kirby game.
New Kirby game that you draw lines on your to make them roll like Sonic, but 10 times slower.
It looks pretty bad. I mean, the art style of it looks beautiful,
yeah.
to be perfectly honest. But in general, the gameplay does not look exciting. Honestly, I don't think they should have had this in their digital event.
I think this should have just been a release that they just announced a couple weeks beforehand. And
pretty much.
That's it.
This really didn't deserve that much.
Very lackluster on that one.
So moving on.
Yeah, we're just going to move right on the list, which is another game that I'm personally really excited for, and I don't know why I am, because I've never played its like successor or.
I can definitely see why you're excited. I mean, obviously, this game we're talking about, Hyrule Warriors.
Yep.
Now this is a combination of the Dynasty Warrior series and obviously the Legend of Zelda.
Never played a Dynasty Warrior.
I have. I played.
I've heard they're great.
One of the maybe like 5 or 7.
I've heard up to the 4th one is awesome. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it loses.
It's pretty much
something.
the same game over and over again. Very action, based, very fast-paced action, but at the same time, kind of the same stuff over and over again. Now, adding in this Zelda license, this actually really makes me excited to play the game. I'm actually
having
definitely
the different weapons that you get in the Zelda series put into this game and used in there.
And playing as different characters, getting to play as Midna, Impa,
Zelda. You get to play as Zelda.
Finally get to play
as Zelda. Well, we could on the CDI, but nobody liked the CDI.
I mean, do we really want to bring that up as a game that existed? Does it really count? I don't know.
But this is the first time since the CDI that she's a playable character and she doesn't suck.
Yeah,
so that's good.
It looks really good. I'm super excited for this game. Definitely going to be a day one pickup for me.
This is a day one for me too. This next one, I'm thinking might be a day one for me too. Yep. And my wife was really interested in it because she played the first one and loved it.
No, for this one, I didn't play it either. I actually really was interested in playing it. I actually been trying to find it, just haven't found it. Pretty much the only reason why I haven't picked it up. But that would be, of course, the announcement of Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U.
And the beautiful thing about this one is if you haven't played the first one, it comes packed in with the game.
Yeah, so really you have no excuse not to pick this game up now.
Absolutely.
I mean, people have crapped on the Wii U, Sony fanboys, Microsoft fanboys saying, oh, this is an outdated system, it doesn't look as good. This game looked fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It was so goddamn gorgeous.
Like, it was rendered really nice. It's really pushing the system the way that it should.
It looks like a PS4 or even Xbox One title. It looks comparable, it really does.
It really does. And I think this is one of the first games on this list, especially, or even in general at this point, where people can say graphically competes with the new systems. And everybody at Nintendo has been saying, no, we're not competing with them, but we can compete with them if we needed to. And this is proof of that. Yes, it is an HD system. It is not as high resolution as some of the other ones, but this one still shows that it
does
can
the job. It really
get
does.
really close.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy with this.
For this one, like you said, going to be a day one pickup. Had trouble finding the first one, like I mentioned, so yeah, definitely picking this one up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now the next one on our list here,
I'm really oddly excited for this.
Yeah, this one really surprised me when I first started to see the clips of
especially now that you have a Wii U.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have something to play with. So yeah, now the game we're talking about is Splatoon.
Excellent.
Very kiddie, very family-friendly shooter. Now, at first I was looking at this kind of being like, what's Nintendo doing?
I can see myself cussing a lot during this game.
Yeah, and then you see the gameplay and the way it fleshed out. It actually looks very, very impressive.
If you missed it, the idea is that you're a human that can turn into a squid, and you have battle arenas.
Or you're a squid that turns into a human.
So, see, there's the... That's the thing. What is it?
Yeah.
But basically you have battle arenas and you're spreading paint, and your strategic move would be to spread paint all around your area and try and work your way into the next area.
And it's really less about killing your opponent. Obviously it seems like there's some aspect of like taking out your opponent in the game. But obviously it's about, like you mentioned, just covering ground, just covering your or the map with your color more than the other team.
Essentially by the end, the one with the most color wins.
Yeah.
Now the bonus behind it is if your color's somewhere, you can warp to that color. You can also turn yourself into squids that allow you to swim through
and hide in the paint,
so you can kind of hide on people. So yeah, it looks really, really interesting. Really well made for something that just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, really out of left field with this one. So.
Yeah, again, very surprising. Like, as soon as I first saw this, like I mentioned, really wasn't impressed until that really started to show itself. And I was just like, wow,
this game
looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually very excited about this one. I'm wondering.
That's going to be a day one for me, I think.
And they haven't really announced if it's going to be like a downloadable or a full release game. So.
I'm hoping for a full release. I would like to see like a cover art and a book, and I would like to see a disc.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for.
This is one I would love to add to the collection. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
Next on our list is it's not that it's not. It's if they did this right, this would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, you know, we love Nintendo. We are Nintendo fanboys to an extent. I mean, obviously, we appreciate the other companies.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Nintendo does these things sometimes where, you know, you kind of try
Question
to figure it out. What's the thought process behind this? Obviously, they showed off this amazingly beautiful Smash Bros. Anime with, you know, featuring Pit from Kid Icarus and Link
Versus Link.
squaring off. And obviously, the whole point of this was to show off
The new character
the
for
new
Smash
character,
Brothers.
which is Lady Palutena, which, if you know, maybe you guys don't know, is the goddess character in the Kid Icarus series. And yeah, this, I mean, forget the addition of the character. That's really the.
Well, apparently everybody knew this anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we really.
They just happened so long ago that they got leaked that people forgot.
But the way they brought this up, I mean, Nintendo, you're from Japan, your company's Japanese, you live in the world of the anime.
Make an anime.
Make a Smash Bros. Anime, please. Like,
I will watch the fuck out of that.
I know, like, okay, personally myself, I'm not a huge anime fan. There's certain ones I do appreciate. My girlfriend's actually more of an anime fan.
Mine
she
too.
loves it.
More her than me.
She was just blown away by this. She was like, can we please watch this over and over again? Because it's like, oh, Nintendo, please do something with this. There's no way you can show this off and just ignore it like it never happened. You need to do something with this.
Absolutely.
Now,
I think it would be an amazing, it would be a good idea just on your part, because it's self-promoting and it's something else you're selling. Right?
There's
just
so much potential for so many characters to be in it. You can create a good
Anybody.
story. Like,
and it's not your old Captain N series
No.
anymore. There's a reason to have all these people in here, you know?
Yeah. Well, and like I said, with any good story, you can definitely make this something that makes sense. That obviously sometimes with a bunch of characters being in the same story, things get watered down. Maybe the focus isn't on the right thing, but I really think there's so much potential to do this right. Please, Nintendo, give us a Smash Bros. Anime. It needs to be done.
I
It
think so too.
Absolutely needs to be done.
We have one last thing on our list, and it's small. It's super
Very small.
And the reason why is they meant it to be small. I don't think they meant to make this a big
No.
deal. And the reason why is because they knew that the world would make it a big deal.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because we've been, you know, this is obviously a very beloved franchise in the Nintendo.
Hasn't been touched since GameCube.
No, and they kind of just, you know, remake the obviously the 64 version on the
Yeah.
3DS. Now that game we're talking about is Star Fox. They teased something about a new Star Fox game.
Everybody knew something was going to happen, and the best we got was
a blurred image of Miyamoto.
Yeah, playing on a system
Yeah.
that you could see him playing a game, and it clearly
was Star Fox.
Star Fox in the background.
Yeah. So
And this is his new IP that he said, or whatever.
And obviously with Miyamoto taking that reduced role Nintendo, you know, clearly maybe this is that franchise he's wanted to focus on. So honestly, Nintendo, I'm very excited about this one. We do need a new Star Fox game. Obviously Star Fox Adventures and Star Fox Assault on the GameCube did not really meet people's expectations.
I think it's time you bring back what we loved.
Please, Nintendo. That's that one I'm super excited about
Me
as well.
too.
So
Absolutely.
I guess for now, obviously, the majority of these games, if not all of them, are all pretty much
Like I
Nintendo
said,
exclusives.
they're all Nintendo exclusives. They did kind of talk about Watch Dogs coming out eventually.
Yeah, at some point.
Stuff like that. It was all small little things that
Well, I think
we
maybe
knew that were supposed to happen, but hasn't. And so we'll kind of see what happens with any of the third-party stuff. But this is all Nintendo exclusives, and I think this is the first one out of E3 that really can say that they have a lot of exclusives.
Yeah, this was absolutely amazing. And for me right now, I guess, Ed, if you know, we're going to talk about our favorite exclusives, obviously all of them.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, what do you go through on that list? I mean, there's so many.
It's tough, and you know, I think most people expect me to say Zelda, Skyrim. Most people do expect it, and I can't. I really, honestly can't, because there's games on here that I'm there's things on here. Forget just games. I'm interested in the amiibos too.
Yeah.
Like. I'm looking through this list and holy crap, like Hyrule Warriors, really interested in. Bayonetta 2, really interested in. Toad's Adventure, really interested in. But you know what I'm going to put on as probably the one that I am most interested in?
This is going to surprise you people. This is really going to surprise you.
I'm going to say Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in getting that game and trying that out than I am any of these other ones. And I really want all these other ones, but that one is it. That's my top pick on this one.
Well, for me right now, actually, I would have to go with the Zelda Skyrim. Right now, like I mentioned, that's the main reason why I went out and bought a Wii U on this weekend. So yeah, just can't wait to see more on that. Nintendo, thank you so much for redeeming yourselves on this event.
You
amazing.
have done so well on this. You surpassed both Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Actually, I would even say they surpassed themselves.
I think they did too.
So honestly, as a score, 10 out of 10, I would honestly, maybe fanboyish of me, I'll give them a 10. I was very impressed with this event. You know, they did it very tight. They crafted the experience they wanted to give you, which is something Nintendo does very, very well. So, yeah, bravo Nintendo.
Congratulations. I'm going to give them a 9.5 out of 10. And the only reason I'm doing that is because you missed one IP.
And what would that be?
Metroid.
Yeah, good point. Definitely, you know, and hopefully that's something that's in the, you know, back works for now.
Yeah, if it's not ready, it's not ready.
Yeah.
And this is going to bring me on to one final conversation, because this is the wrap-up of E3.
Yes. All three of them combined.
And this is something that's been talked about a little bit with people, and I think it's relevant, especially with this. Do you find that these game companies are announcing things too early?
There are times where they maybe get a bit ahead of themselves. You know, sometimes it is in the best interest of their company to showcase what they're working on, but when they tend to sometimes abandon or maybe ignore these things for a long time, it kind of hurts their reputation a little bit.
I think it does too.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to look at these companies and love them, whether it be Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. And again, you know, whichever one you love is perfectly fine with us. But I mean, yeah, if you're going to show off something, do it the best way you possibly can. Don't give us a third-rate
don't show way too early. Like, I mean, how early was last Guardian show? And that was years now.
Yeah,
it keeps getting pushed. Like, you got to stop. You got to be closer to your completed product before you show, because then you don't have as many people disappointed when you're pushing it back.
And it just looks bad on you. I mean, again, you know, we do appreciate Sony and the work they do, and I can't remember it is definitely an in-house company or game that's being developed for Last Guardian.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just showing it off, what is it, 6-7 years ago at this point?
Something like that. It's been a long time. I think PS3 was pretty new.
It's supposed to be on PS3, and yeah, I mean, just not a good way to represent yourselves. And again, hold off till you really have something you can show people and say, this is coming out soon.
So, I mean, this is another year, another E3. It's done.
I think it's safe to say Nintendo took the
Nintendo took this one. And not even really being part of it, they took this one.
Yeah, technically.
And you know, every year seems to be getting better and better. And this year, I would say, was an excellent E3. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to keep myself involved with this one. It had a very slow start with Microsoft.
Yeah.
Got really strong with PlayStation, and then really hit it out of the park with Nintendo.
So I guess my hopes for the next presentation, again, you know, I love all these companies. And the one thing I would say is competition is good. A lot of these fanboys kind of say, "Oh, I just want my console to exist, and that's it." The problem with that is
they don't have to try anymore.
No, they wouldn't, because you have no other choice. So the fact that these companies are all trying to compete, they're all trying to put out their best stuff, I really appreciate it. And hopefully Microsoft next year kind of brings their level up, brings up their game, and really shows up something that's like, wow, Microsoft really showed it off. And hopefully that's my expectation for next year.
I would like to see Microsoft jump ahead, because we need it.
Yeah.
As PlayStation fans and Nintendo fans, we need Microsoft to jump a little bit further.
Definitely, because it at least pushes Sony's and Nintendo's game forward. So yeah, competition is good. So
I think in a finalization here, congratulations, Nintendo.
Yep.
You really did the unthinkable. And
thank you personally.
You made him buy a Wii U. That you made him buy a Wii U the same week. So I'm even shocked at that. But yeah, I mean, this has been a really fun time. I've had a good time talking about all this stuff with you. And I can't wait for the next thing that we get to sit down and do a wrap-up on something.
Yeah, definitely. I guess it'll be maybe PAX later this year or something like that. You're definitely going to start to see our opinions on the industry and how stuff works. Because we definitely have stuff that we want to say to people. So.
Oh, absolutely.
So thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, the viewers. Comment, and if you disagree with things we're saying, please put them down there.
Troll if you want. I really don't care.
Really, yeah.
I really don't.
Anything you want to say, put it down there. I'm really happy to respond to. Remember, these are our opinions, so we're interested to hear what you have to say. Either way, this was River City Wrap Up, and I'm Ed.
This is Max.
And we'll see you next time.